So this is breaking news. Russia to suspend electricity supply to Finland. Yes, that's how it's looking from the BBC. They say Russian energy supplier RAO Nordic says it will suspend deliveries of electricity to Finland from Saturday, citing problems with payments. The company said it had not been paid for previous deliveries. The Finnish grid operator said Russia provided only a small percentage of the country's electricity. I think it's around 10%. And that it could be replaced from alternative sources. On Thursday, Russia threatened to take retaliatory steps after Finland said it planned to join NATO. Right, so that's the other big issue that's looming in the background, right? So they are saying clearly Russia's behavior in Ukraine justifies and renews NATO's resolve and vindicates its continued existence, even though the Soviet Union is gone. And not the other way around, right? That you're not allowed to say that. That's banned. That's wrong think. You're not allowed to say, well, NATO's been expanding and threatening Russia's border, and maybe that has something to do with it. No, this is Putin propaganda. Shh. Finland shares a 1,300-kilometer border with Russia and has previously stayed out of NATO to avoid antagonizing its eastern neighbor. However, since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there's been a surge in public support for NATO membership. On Sunday, so that would be the 15th of May, Finland is expected to formally announce its plan to join. The decision by RAO Nordic has not been explicitly tied to Finland's decision. So they're basically saying Russia cutting off electricity to Finland is not necessarily related to Finland joining NATO. So neither the Russian operator nor the Finn operator are explaining what's behind the payment difficulties. Now, as far as I recall, when Russia is demanding payments in rubles, that is for gas, okay? And we only have a handful of countries that have gone ahead and said, fine, we'll open this special K account in Gazprom Bank and we'll send the euros and you do the rest. Right, so that's Germany, Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, Italy. So they're not specifying whether this has anything to do with that. They're saying that Finland only gets 10% of its electricity from Russia. And so, whether Russia cuts that off is not going to make a big difference. Now, in the case of cutting off the gas, because again, this is amid the gas dispute, last week, Russia cut off gas to Poland and to Bulgaria. Now, Poland, as we looked at in that video, I did a full in-depth explanation of why Russia's cutting off the gas and how Poland is going to, handle the situation. Poland has many alternatives, right? It has an LNG terminal, 2 pipelines, one with Norway, one with Lithuania, and so on and so on. And also the reverse Yamal from Germany. So, in the end, they're going to pay more, but they won't be left without gas. Now, Bulgaria as a whole is a totally different issue because Poland only got 50% it got 50% of its gas from Russia. It's able to replace that more or less this year. And then Bulgaria, I think, is 90%. So, I don't know if Bulgaria will fare that well. But when you're looking at these sorts of situations where, one country is weaning itself off of the supply of certain resources from another, or, the supplier is simply cutting them off due to payment disputes or whatever is going on right now in geopolitics, you have to look at, can they negotiate this obstacle? And in the case of the electricity cut here, it looks like Finland can. They're saying that the lack of electricity import from Russia will be compensated by importing more electricity from Sweden and by generating more electricity in Finland. So this is the vice president at Fingrid. And also there's the point that, the weather is getting warmer. So that's good because they have extra wind power generation and a new nuclear power station that's expected to open this summer. So that would make up for the lost supplies from Russia. Now, again, just a word of caution, though, because even when whether we're talking about this or Poland's plans to replace the Russian gas, these are just plans. You never know what happens. Sometimes pipelines are delayed, sometimes this and that. But, generally speaking, I think that this is not... Again, this is a breaking news story, which you guys just told me about, so we're going through it. We're going through it together right now. But I think this is not as big of a deal or dispute as the gas issue. That is really the behemoth, and it's a really complicated one, but I'm glad I covered it. I don't know why. I just find it really interesting because it's got so many ramifications and such a large ripple effect and external consequences. And that's the thing about Ukraine. It's not something that's just happening in Ukraine. There are so many consequences worldwide. That's why this conflict is remarkable, very unfortunate, no question. It would have been better not to have it at all, obviously, because a lot of people are suffering, a lot of refugees, a lot of people losing their friends, losing family. But my point is that from an international relations perspective, so many things are changing. It's hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up. And there are things happening right now, like the gas payments in rubles, that you would have never even thought of a few months ago. You would have called outrageous. And yet they're happening. So we'll see what happens in terms of this, cut of electricity to Finland. But, when you have a situation where Finland and Sweden are expressing, a will to join NATO and acquire NATO membership, I mean, again, it's escalation. And I don't know if that's what the world needs right now.